Good morning, good afternoon to some. Welcome to today's presentation. My name is Nicole Casas. I'm the Membership Program Specialist here at the American Academy of Sleep Medicine. Before we begin, a quick reminder, your audio is muted and your video is off. We encourage you to submit any questions through the Q&A function below. And let's get started. So on today's agenda, let me give you a quick overview of what you can expect. We'll start with exactly what ASM membership, fellow membership is and means. Next, we'll review the requirements, what's needed to qualify to apply, and how contributions are evaluated. From there, I'll provide an application walkthrough so you can see exactly what the process looks like from start to finish. We'll then cover some frequently asked questions and then come up from members over time. I've collected a few. And finally, we'll close with addressing the questions that are left in the Q&A. Although I hope everything that we go through will cover those. So let's talk about fellow membership. In other words, fellow of the American Academy of Sleep Medicine, a fellow standing. Straight from the ASM bylaws, fellow standing is an honor bestowed to ASM members who apply for and meet the requirements to become a fellow of the American Academy of Sleep Medicine, determined by the board of directors. One of the highest recognitions that the ASM offers is the AASM designation. This honor is reserved for members in demonstrating significant contributions to the field of sleep medicine, as well as dedication to the Academy. So earning fellow standing is more than just a title. It's a symbol of excellence and leadership within the sleep medicine specialty. When you see FAASM after someone's name, you know that they've made a meaningful contribution to advancing sleep medicine. And then who can apply? Applications are open to both full and team members who are in good standing with the Academy. The ASM accepts fellow applications on an annual schedule, which we'll go over in the next few slides. There's no cost to apply, and applications are evaluated by our fellow applicant review committee. Let's go to my next slide. The perks of becoming a fellow member. On the right, you'll see a picture of what we have on the website from pretty much the last cycle that we had approved members that were from the beginning of this year. Some of the specific benefits that come with being awarded fellow standing. First, you'll be able to see FAASM credentials after your name. This is a mark of distinction that highlights your professional achievement and commitment to advancing sleep medicine. Second, your name will be included in the fellow section of the ASM website. This provides visibility among your peers and the broader sleep medicine community. You'll also receive a certificate and a fellow label pin. These serve as just a lasting symbol of accomplishment and a visible way to show your recognition. Finally, fellows are celebrated at the Academy at the sleep meeting. There'll be recognition during the membership meeting that we have every year at the sleep meeting, as well as in Montage, the quarterly magazine that is offered to members, and in the ASM Insider. This ensures your achievement is recognized not just within the Academy, but across the field. Eligibility requirements. So let's walk through the key eligibility requirements to apply for fellow standing. This will help you determine whether you're ready to submit for the upcoming cycle in a few weeks or the next. First, to be eligible, once again, you must be a full or team member for the last 5 consecutive years. Keep in mind that time spent as a student member does not count towards this 5-year requirement. Next, recent activities. The review committee looks for specific examples of your contributions to the field of sleep medicine over the past 5 years. This includes, clinical work, any research findings, teaching, leadership roles in a committee, or involvement with the academy. Documents that you'll have to submit would be CV or an updated resume. And we do emphasize on the updated part because we're obviously only looking at the last 5 years of your accomplishments. So we do want to see it to be updated. And consider carefully your letters of recommendation, reaching out to those individuals early on, because as you can imagine, it takes a little long to get those back. And then choose those references. Speak to their accomplishments. Leadership in the field is very important. Choosing your preferred letters of recommendation and support. Finally, making sure that your current membership is in good standing. So right now we're in 2025 membership, and some even have 2-year membership. So they're going through already 2026. So we want to make sure that you are current in your active membership right now. And then also in just a few weeks, we'll be collecting 2026 dues. So making sure that you are a 2025 and a 2026 member is essential. And then yes, so a quick reminder, membership for 2026 opens on Wednesday, October 1st, which is in about 2 weeks. Okay, so getting into the actual application, right? Now let's walk through the main sections that you can anticipate. Understanding these components will help you prepare for a strong submission, so ensuring nothing is overlooked, even from the beginning of making sure the first sections are going to focus on member eligibility again, because we want to make sure that you are triple checking your history, and you can do that within your AASM account. And then, of course, you can reach out to me, and we can make sure that the last 5 consecutive years are indeed set, that there's no any lapse in between. This section will also ask if there's any pending or final disciplinary actions against you. And these questions ensure that all applicants are meeting the Academy's professional standards. And then we'll get into like the special contributions. So this next section highlights your special contributions to the sleep medicine field. You'll need to document meaningful work within the at least 2 of the 3 areas: scholarship, service, and education. And then keep in mind, education is a 2-parter. So it's kind of like health professional, teaching health professions, or promoting public awareness. And then providing clear examples is critical because the review committee evaluates your impact and then the impact and accomplishments. You also need to submit the CV or resume, your 2 letters of recommendation, and then carefully carefully check each of the sections to make sure that you're meeting the requirements of minimum 3 of activities, which I can go into the next slides, specifically diving into scholarship. So when completing your application, you'll want to provide up to 3 of your most impactful publications. If you have more than 3, choose the ones that are directly related to sleep medicine and ideally published within the last 5 years. So this is going to help the reviewers see your most recent and most relevant contributions. Details are going to be essential. We're going to need the publication title, authors, co-authors, name of the publication, the date that it was published, and the publication type. For example, whether it's a journal article, book chapter, abstract, and so on. The name of the publication is essential, making sure that it is sleep medicine related. And here I've included a kind of a sample of a past submission. and I believe this person was a dentist, is a dentist, I'm sorry. And so their activities show the date that it was published, the type of article, the name of the publishing journal, and then the year or when it was published. Please remember that in press or unpublished work does not qualify. So I understand that you might have upcoming material, in the works, but if it has not been published, it would not count towards the application. So moving along to service. Another important area of eligibility for fellow standing is demonstrating your participation or leadership in activities that advance the field of sleep medicine. This reflects your commitment to serving the broader professional community beyond day-to-day work. So examples of eligible activities include serving in a leadership or volunteer role within the ASM or other sleep-related professional associations. These roles should represent meaningful contributions, whether that's through committee service, task force, or other organizational involvement. It's important to note that activities must be volunteer-based. This cannot be duties that are part of your current job description, or activities that you're paid for, or work that is expected of you by your employer. And to meet the requirement, you must document at least 3 activities completed within the 5 years. Activities span multiple years, so we understand that. So here we just mentioned that, if you've done, 2 years on a committee, then those would be 2 separate activities and they would qualify. I did want to highlight this sample because this individual put numbers of years, and we do want the year. So we've since updated the language to make sure that it is translated to what we're actually expecting, which would be the year of service. So whether that was, I was on the fellow applicant committee from 2021 to 2022, and so on. So we do want the year and not necessarily the number of years. Luckily for this applicant, the reviewers were able to go and check out their resume and see and kind of compare it and make sure that that was within the last 5 years. A little sip. Okay, education. So in this part of the application, you're asked to demonstrate your dedication to advancing the field of sleep medicine through 2 ways, through health professional education or through public awareness activities. If you choose the health professional education path, you'll need to list at least 3 activities. I mean, I say that, but technically, each section is going to be a minimum of 3. You have to have 3 within the last 5 years. So we just reiterate that for every section. These might include delivering sleep medicine presentations, developing educational materials that are used by other professionals in the field. The idea is to show how you've contributed to teaching or knowledge sharing among colleagues and trainees. As for the public awareness, this alternatively, you can demonstrate your impact through public awareness efforts. Again, you'll need to list a minimum of 3 activities. Examples could be participating in any community outreach events, developing patient education, resources that help the public better understand sleep medicine and its importance. So, of course, once again, material needs to be sleep medicine related. And if you have more than 3 examples, I would focus on the ones that have the highest impact, because it is scored, which we can go in the next slides to talk about that. In each activity you submit, to be sure to include, a couple sentences at least, just to provide as much detail as possible so that we don't leave the reviewers, without any context when they're evaluating your contributions. So whether you choose to do professional health professional or public awareness. This section of the application is your chance to highlight how you've moved the field of sleep medicine forward, either by educating your peers or by increasing understanding in your community. And just a couple notes. So when listing educational activities, explain how long the session lasted. So not just, the name of the material or the name of the session, explain how long it lasted, whether it was over a certain period of time or if it was a one-time webinar situation. Share the impact that you think it had on this on the community or field. Note that if it's an online or in person, or if it was a regional thing or a national conference, and then reminder, to make sure that your resume does indeed match it so that the whatever is not found within the application, the team can go and look at your resume to double check any other details. Okay, so here I just have a sample, a full sample. Obviously, this is not exactly what you're going to be seeing on your login in your view. This is a kind of a review of it or a sample download version of it. So just kind of give you an idea of what it's asking from, name to member number to member type, your current company, just basic information that we would need just to categorize our applicants. Um, I'm happy to say that on our new, in the last couple of years, we're able to change to a different platform. So it should be much more user-friendly and accessible. You're able to create an account. You can pick your application type. So whether you're choosing service and education or scholarship and education, and then obviously that health professional option or that public awareness one. So that should help, make sure that you're filling in all fields required. And then you will have the opportunity to save it, lock it, and then submit it when complete. And please do not submit it without your attachments because it's going to be an incomplete submission. And then, of course, there is a question in the beginning that might not be shown here, but it says that it's, have you applied before? So in the last few years, we've had some applicants apply again. Maybe their first submission wasn't the strongest. So we give them advice, recommendations, so how they can improve it for next round. So yes, you can reapply if this is your second time. You can, even if it's a third time, because we understand that the application process is pretty thorough. Oh, so this was just a second half of the application part of it. And, of course, we ask for clear descriptions for each activity and then upload, like, as I said before, all of the attachments required, your letters of recommendation, your CV, optional certificates, and headshot. I may have not included that part on here, but yes, headshot, so that we can make the after approval process simpler. Okay, moving right along to the timeline and review process. We are making good time. So let's take a moment to walk through how your application will be reviewed and scored. The process is designed to be fair and thorough and consistent across all applicants. So each applicant is carefully reviewed by the fellow applicant review committee. They will score the examples you provide in categories of scholarship, service, and education. Each category is rated on a scale, and a score of 0 is given to, an item that's not qualifying. Something would be like maybe if it's not sleep medicine related. While a 3 reflects significant effort, strong impact on the field of sleep medicine. The committee looks not just at the number of activities, but the overall effort and impact of those activities, whether it was on a regional or nationwide, things of that nature. To qualify for approval, you must meet or exceed a combined average score. And this ensures that fellows represent a meaningful level of contribution to the field. And then once those applications are scored, I'm sorry, I just lost my spot. Well, pretty much next steps would be the committee would submit recommendations to the executive committee for final approval. And then that's where I would step back in and then inform you all. And let's go on to the next slide. Timeline. Okay, so this is just going to be the time cycle. So in previous years, it was kind of like people would submit over the year each quarter, and now we have this wonderful cycle where we open it up in mid-October, we close it before the end of the year, and staff review the applications, confirm that the requirements are met. I'm staff, so I would go ahead and look and make sure that all those minimal, all those eligibility things are met, submission is clear, and everything is submitted, then I would get those bundled up and sent over to the review committee so that they could score you. And then they have some time to look through those applicants. In some years, we've had, upwards to 80 submissions. In other years, we've had half of that. So it's really helpful for you all to submit early on from the deadline, just so that if we do need to make any communications with you all, there's enough time for you to get back for if we need a little details on something. And then, yeah, so then by the time we know it, we'll be in March, where we'll be notifying everyone and sending out those certificates and letters, and, getting ready for the sleep meeting in June, where, you are all welcome to attend and take a group photo. And yeah, let's go into questions and frequently asked questions and resources. So a big one is, how do I find out if I've been a member for the 5 consecutive years? So you can certainly contact me, or you can log into your account and check. Obviously, if you have any questions from what you see on your ASM account history, then you reach out to me and we can confirm it. Do you need to be board certified in sleep medicine to qualify? No, board certification is not a requirement. How do I find someone to help write a letter of recommendation? So it is important to reach out to those individuals early on, so that give them enough time to write one, and then also include it with your application. So I would try, if you do have problem finding someone, I would recommend searching our Engage platform, and then you can go into the membership directory. You can also go on the main website where you would go to click to apply. There's going to be a section where you'll be able to see the past approved fellow members. So you are welcome to reach out. Can I submit parts of my application at different times? So no, this one was a big one, in previous years, because it was a different system, but now we have it kind of, I would say, the best that it's ever been, where you're able to, save and get back to it, continue, and make sure that you do, and it's not going to let you submit unless you've checked all the sections. So whether that be the questions, the minimum activities, those 2 letters of recommendation, your CV, and any certificates if you want to, your headshot. Obviously that's not required, but it's optional. But I mean, it's not going to let you submit unless you've done all of those things. So may I reapply? So yes, in previous years, we've been able to, get this team of fellow applicant review committee, and they, when they are in discussion over who's approved and who's not approved, I mean, they're making notes, they're providing details or recommendations of how this applicant can build a stronger application for the future. So staff, myself, will be taking those notes and then, go ahead and transfer them over to you all, so that you are aware of the final decision and why. Okay. Once again, resources that you might need while you're applying. So like I mentioned before, ASM engage community. Oh, okay. So this is not necessarily like for you to apply this time, but if you're looking to, fill in some of those service requirements that you might not have right now, I would highly encourage you to become a committee member of ours. And so that those opportunities open up in the spring and are generally June to June. And so by having those voluntary opportunities with us, this could help you build your application for the future. And then once again, connecting with peers for letters of recommendation. You can find those the fellow listing on the website. So you can see past fellows. You can contact myself for, your membership history, status, any clarification. And then before anyone asks any technical questions, like what does this qualify? Does that qualify? I mean, I've been doing this for, over 5 years specific to this application. So, I mean, I've seen some applications. I can certainly provide some, um, answer some questions, but I do typically connect with the committee of doctors and I ask them if they can kind of put in some insight and to provide some insight to you also, what you're submitting is actually indeed could work. But I do welcome the questions. I will just probably have to just get back to you. Oh, and then also you'll be able to find a sample application on the ASM website. Right now there's one, but I think I'll add one more because we've had recently some dentists that were approved, and I think it's imperative to show those samples as well as team members. In the past, it was only open to full regular members, and now it's open. In the past couple years, it's been open to team members. So I know I've had a couple nurse practitioners that have really strong applications that I could show. Obviously not showing their name, but showing their contributions. Okay, questions. Please enter your questions in the Q&A box at the bottom of the screen if you haven't already done so, which I am making my way there. How many fellows are typically awarded each year? Great question. So I could tell you offhand, last year we had 34 approved. And I can't remember the actual submission number, but I would say 34. I know for sure the year prior to that was like 40-ish. And then for sure that the beginning of when we opened up these cycles for the first time, which was about 3 years ago, where we did it, once a year. That one I want to say we had like 88 submissions that year. As you can imagine, I mean, there's a lot of people that inquire, they're just not meeting those 5 consecutive years because, hey, maybe they left that one of those years lapse or the student thing, the student membership. I mean, we appreciate our students, but it does not qualify towards the 5 full or team member years. Okay, another question. Great question. Thank you. Can someone review the application ahead of time to check if it meets the requirements before submission? Have I done that before? Yes. We've taken a look at it, but keep in mind, I'm not a medical professional. But I am, making comments. I've seen things before, so I can definitely give you my expertise. And then obviously if I need to reach out to our chair, Dr. Nancy Collop, or any of the other available committee members for, brief questions, I can. I can't promise I'll share a whole application with them, but if there is some, snippets or, specific activities, that would be helpful. But I mean, maybe not the full application. I would just submit it. Obviously, if the first time around doesn't go well, I would encourage you to try again. It's not going to be against you or anything at all if the first time around didn't work out. Okay. For the speaking activity, is there a recommended time? I mean, a minimum of 30 minutes, I would say would be best. Great question. And would site co-investigator of a national sleep medicine related trial count as a service? Honestly, any services I've seen have always been committee-based. I have still yet to see a service that is not committee-based, so if that helps. I'm not familiar with the investigator of a national sleep medicine, but if you want, you're welcome to email me that a little bit more detailed, and then I can get back to you and see what Dr. Collop or any of the other committee members have to say about it. But in my experience, service is typically a committee. And something I didn't mention, committees. I mean, I know with the ASM, it's typically June to June. So yeah, obviously we're not at, we probably started in June and, we're not there yet. So I wouldn't include that year of service yet because, that's not, you're not done yet. I would say, anything 2024 or prior, I wouldn't include a 25 one because technically how the ASM works in terms of volunteering, it's the June 2025 to June 2026. Okay, moving right along. How can we reach out to recent fellows for guidance or review the application? How can you reach out to recent fellows? So you can look up their name and then go over to Engage and you can search them there. I mean, you're able, and there's a membership directory within Engage, and you can personally message people within the platform, or you can look at their profile and they've shared their personal or business contact information. Speaking for a device company as their consultant would count as an educational activity on a sleep medicine topic and not about the device itself. Speaking for a device company as their consultant would count as an educational activity. Because that sounds like a work thing, right? I mean, if it's an educational activity, I just know offhand, it just can't be related to work. So whether you were compensated or not, if it's within the company that you work for or are affiliated with, I would say it does not count. But feel free to reach out to me if I had misunderstood the question, because that's totally possible. So yes, not related to work, someone said. So yes, so once again, none of your submissions should be related. Well, I guess specific to like service, because obviously we want you to be a volunteering committee that's outside of your work. Those are all great questions. And I don't see anything else right now. Looks like we answered about 13 questions. Are the application
Nicole,
timelines similar for 2026? Also, if you spent 2 years on the committee and 1 year on a different committee, that would count as 3? Yes. But going back to the first question, are the application timelines similar for 2026? Also, the application timelines. So yes, always, if this is what they're asking, always it's going to be October to December-ish. And so, yes, so right now we're going to be opening it in a few weeks and they will become 2026. If they're ultimately approved, they would be 2026 fellows of the American Academy of Sleep Medicine. And then to the question about the committee, yes, so if 2 years on one committee is 2 activities, 2 separate activities, and then 1 year at another committee, yes, that's the 3. So that's the minimum 3. Obviously, just keep in mind of that note of making sure that it's within the last 5 years and that they have at least been completed. You're not currently in it and it's not done yet. Okay, we are at 35 minutes and I do want to give back your time. And then also this
sorry,
recording
Nicole.
is going to be available on the website. Go ahead.
Nicole, one more. Just wanted to address a couple more questions, or wanted you to address a couple questions that came in case anybody else had that. So, can contributions be overseas, or do they have to be in the U.S.?
That's a great question. As long as it's sleep medicine related, it does not matter. But feel
Okay.
free to email me and I can look at the question again and get you a second opinion.
And then, do the letters of recommendation have to be from current fellows?
So there is two requirements for the letters of recommendation, and one of them, it says that it can be. And I wish I had that handy so I could tell you.
So one of your letters of recommendation does have to be from a current fellow or someone who is board certified in sleep medicine.
Exactly. Thank you.
And that is all.
Great. So here is the fellow membership at ASM.org email. Here's where you can go and see resources, also how, any of the samples, and then the link to apply. Of course, we'll be emailing when the time gets closer to our eligible members, and we'll share things in the insider and where you get your news, so you'll see when that cycle does open and when it will close. Thank you everyone who joined. We look forward to reviewing your future applications, and don't forget to renew for 2026. And applications will open on October 15th. And stay tuned for any upcoming webinars that are offered by the ASM. And I appreciate you all attending this one, and have a great day.